Welcome to the channel. My name is June. It's a beautiful day here in Jamaica, and a lot of celebration is happening because a case that had gone to the Privy Council, it has now been returned to the Court of Appeal in Jamaica for a decision to be taken whether or not there should be a retrial for the case, or that person should be set free of all the charges and all of that. Many persons are celebrating, and saying that whole ex-person and these accomplices are free, and they are free by the Privy Council, and the justice system in Jamaica is this, and the justice system in Jamaica is that. I'm talking about the famous case of our, Jamaican dance hall artist Vybz Kartel, Adidja Palmer, and his co-accused on a case of murder. They were found guilty over 10 years ago for the murder of one of their friends, one called Lizard. This story is all over the internet, so you can go and update yourself or get a briefing on what it is all about. So they had long prison terms, 35 years to life, 35 years before parole, and all of that. They took it to the Privy Council, that is our highest appellate court. This is in London. Now, there are many technicalities that went on in the case, and I have listened to a lot of vloggers speak on the matter. One such vlogger is this renowned person. He called himself the little YouTuber. One point that is clearly laid out by the Privy Council was a matter of juror or jury contamination, where it is said that one juror tried to bribe other jurors to return a particular verdict in the matter. This juror, even though it was known to the court that he was attempting to contaminate the jury panel, was allowed to stay for the entire hearing and even up until the debate and the discussions to come to a verdict. Of course, a verdict was attained 11-1, and they are speculating that this one person who voted not guilty must have been the person who was trying to contaminate the others. Not necessarily. There's no proof that it was him, because of course no one knows who voted what. Anyways, it went on that this juror, after the trial, after the guilty verdict, he now was brought before the court, being charged for perverting the course of justice. Can you imagine? He was allowed to stay on as part of the jury panel. You see how messed up this is? Which, in my mind, they would have known that, listen, since this is a criminal offense, we will have to revamp the entire jury and start afresh, or we have to go with one less juror. Whether this was legal, I don't know, because I understand that we need 12 persons for this panel. And so he stayed. I don't know if this was a setup from the beginning, knowing that, listen, if this juror remains on the panel, then this is a breach of justice. And so let him stay, so that further down the road we're gonna have this as a chip in our pocket or on our shoulders as we put forth our defense argument. Because clearly contamination had gone on, and so he should have been removed. Now, case coming back to Jamaica, to decide whether or not we're gonna have a retrial. I don't know if you can try someone twice for the same offense. I don't know. But this group of persons in question, Kartel and his crony, in this particular matter, what are persons celebrating, when they say that, oh, he's free? Is he free of the charge of murder? He is free technically. Yes, the charge is still there because they can decide, okay, we still believe that you are guilty of murder and we are going to go the route of a retrial. I do not know if this is possible. I don't know. Is conviction being overturned by the Privy Council? The Privy Council is not saying you are not guilty of what you went to court for. What we are saying is that having kept this jury panel with one person who tried to contaminate the whole panel, this was a breach, and it would have caused a miscarriage of justice. So on this basis, this was not a fair trial, because the conclusion that came about after deliberation, after listening to all the evidences, true or false, I don't know, this person who had tried to contaminate the rest of the jury pool, he should not have been there. And I can't, in my naive mind, where justice is concerned, I can't imagine that the learned judge, the lawyers representing both sides, because there were many lawyers involved, top-notch lawyers, didn't any one of them know that this is a breach which would come back to haunt them? And I'm not just talking about the case in question. It could have been any case. So I am not talking about Vybz Kartel and his friends. No, I am talking in general now. A situation like this happened with so many top-notch lawyers, the director of public prosecution being among the lawyers, the judge himself. Didn't anyone see that this attempted or actual contamination would have come back to haunt them later? The question is a retrial possible? How long would it take? This is a very serious matter, and I'm not talking about Vybz Kartel and his friend. I'm talking about a serious miscarriage of justice in any situation. The hastiness of persons in the legal fraternity to come up with a verdict which is okay to them. Someone must have known that this would come back to haunt. As one vlogger said, hey, they did not expect that this case would have really gone to the Privy Council. They probably were thinking that, hey, look, there is not enough money to go. What the average person might not understand is that because these lawyers know that a breach was carried, they probably would have worked even pro bono, because they know that this verdict had to be overturned. The state owes them anything for these times spent. If there will be no retrial, if they are going to be set free, will they be compensated in any way? If they will be compensated, if they're going to file now a lawsuit against the state, then it's going to be big monies that this country will have to pay out. So these lawyers would have known, and they would have decided that, look, we can work pro bono because we have to win the appeal on this ground. Didn't the DPP know this? Didn't the court know this? I don't know how the justice system is really gonna move forward from now on, because here, this big case, I mean, the DPP and her team, they celebrated and there was much rejoicing 10, 13 years ago, how long ever it was, and now for things to blow up in their faces. What could have caused this messed up situation? What could have caused them not to realize that this would have come back to haunt them? This is a landmark situation, a landmark case. For years to come, it will be used in many legal battles. So it's not about freeing Vibes Cartel and freeing that. It's a matter of there was a messed up on technical grounds as far as the DPP and her team was concerned. They messed up. The question now is, if they had replaced that juror and a guilty verdict was handed down, how different would have been the Privy Council's ruling on the matter? We will follow this one closely. I will let you know in another video what is the outcome of the matter, whether there will be a retrial. I know that their lawyers are gonna apply for bail on their behalf if they are not released right away. I don't know about legal matters and how these things are carried out. I need to be informed and to be educated of such. People, take care of yourself. Until next video, be blessed.